Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for a short prayer and a salute to our flag? Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our service men and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Statement of publication.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 24th day of February 2025 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca. Here. Khaleesi.
Mike. Say here.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Council President.
I move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary.
Second.
February 10th, regular agenda.
There's a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
At this time, I'm going to ask the governing body to go up to the rail, and we would ask the contingent of firemen to come forward as we are honoring a Sayreville hero, Fire Captain Nick Luciano of President Park. This one?
Yeah, these ones.
They don't work? Okay. You come closer, Mike. All right, so Councilman Khaleesi is in charge of the fire department, and I've asked him to do the honors of a very grateful and proud borough.
So we're here to present the certificate of recognition presented by the mayor and the council on this day, 24th day of February 2025. Fire Captain Nick Luciano, President Park, truck number 5. The Borough of Sayreville would like to acknowledge President Park's truck 5, Fire Captain Nick Luciano, for his quick thinking and bravery displayed on Thursday, January 30th at 9:26 a.m. as he responded to a multiple structure fire in the adjacent town of South River. An urgent Mayday call came over the radio. There were 2 trapped firefighters pinned from a collapsed wall against a car. Without hesitation, Captain Luciano immediately leaped into action with the help of a member from the county fire marshal's office. His swift actions helped free both men from a perilous, life-threatening situation. Captain Luciano's quick thinking, courage, and leadership exemplify the highest ideas of the fire service. His bravery and selfless actions played a crucial role in ensuring the safety of his fellow firefighters, and he is truly deserving of commendation for his heroic efforts. Thanks, Nick.
Sure. Nick, do you want to speak or are you going to have somebody speak?
It's all about you.
You know, one thing about firemen, they're the bravest people you'll ever meet, except when it comes to public speaking. So on behalf of a very proud and grateful borough, Nick, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. As I told you firemen out in the hall, when I give a speech for firemen, I say, these are special people. I said, as we run out of the burning building, they run inside, and you certainly exemplified that type of courage at this fire over in South River. We're very proud of you. More than that, we're very proud you're a Sayreville fire captain. So we welcome you, we honor you, and we thank you.
Appreciate it.
George, you want to say anything? Go ahead.
I just wanted to say a couple words that commanding officers of the department, this is like a worst nightmare when we hear a Mayday call go out. And I'm just grateful that Nick was there at the time. And on the Mayday call, I just commend you.
You know, I always like a 50-year man. Let me call him up. Rich Kosmowski has served 50 years as a volunteer in the Sayreville Fire Department. Rich, you're not at a loss of word, whether spoken or written, so let tonight not be the first time you are.
I don't think you got enough time.
I bet you. I'll give you a tap on the shoulder.
50 years just seemed like a dream. It just went by so fast. But I guess the first years was a stepping stone to move on to bigger and better things throughout the state. And my social media runs anywhere from North Jersey all the way down to Cape May. Friends I've made, acquaintances, meetings, fire calls, just a lot of people. And I'm just thankful that I was able to do it for that many years. Okay. Thank you.
We're making a documentary about Fireman Kosmowski, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay.
All right, I'll have this much, you'll have this much, as it should be. All right,
Thanks,
gentlemen
Mayor.
of this, and ladies of the Sayreville Fire Department, we stand with all due respect. And all our thanks.
Thank you for the service.
Donna?
Yes, before we go on, there's a couple of appointments I just want to make sure that we get to. So we have, I'd like to appoint Sharon Rodas to Cultural Arts.
Go through them all, and then if there are
Okay.
objections, it'll
No,
come
you're
up.
gonna have to, because I don't,
You can't do it that way?
well, she's just gonna have to slow down. Cultural arts, Sharon Rhoda.
Sharon Rodas.
Okay.
Robin
Golombeski.
for 3 years on rec. I think Sharon's the only one that's not on that list. And then I would like to make the appointments for Sustainable Sayreville. 2-year member, Meadow Magnani, 2-year member, Aaron Wern, and our student rep, Gianna
Ranovich.
Ranovich. Okay, and that would be all of the appointments for tonight.
Okay. Is there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Calusi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
With that, we'll go to old business.
Yep. Public hearing on ordinance number 6-25, Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, ordinance authorizing Title 39 motor vehicle enforcement upon the private roadways throughout the Rockville residential development.
At this time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments. Are there any questions or comments? Being no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading, and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Khaleesi,
Yes.
Valka. Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Public hearing on ordinance number 7-25, Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, ordinance amending and updating the fees for the Borough Community Garden.
This time I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on this ordinance. Other questions or comments? Being none, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the public hearing be closed. The ordinance adopted on the second and final reading is advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Sinarski,
Yes.
Valka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts. Zabrowski.
Yes.
Introduction of the following ordinances, number 8-25, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance 40-23, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2025 to 2027.
Councilman Valka?
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held at 3/10/2025.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Valka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Ordinance number 9-25, an ordinance supplementing and amending ordinance number 3-24, fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2025 to 2027.
Councilman Valka?
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held at 3/10/2025.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Valka.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
At this time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on resolutions. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson, Parlin. On Resolution 69, I'm very happy that the JCP&L property is going to be looked at for redevelopment. I've been talking about this for almost a year. I think it's got great potential, properly done, properly cleaned up. It can be a great asset to the town. So I'm happy to see you're moving, and that sometimes you take suggestions. On 2025-67, which is called authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program for Kennedy Park Trail improvements. I spent a lot of time thinking about this over the weekend. Finally, I realized that's a mistake. That should be Bailey Park, not Kennedy Park. Is that correct? Should that be Bailey Park Trail improvements?
No,
That should be Kennedy Park Trail
it's
improvements.
accepting of the grant.
Pardon me?
It's paperwork filed to accept the grant that we've been approved for.
And the grant is for Kennedy Park Trail improvement?
Kennedy Park.
There are no trails at Kennedy Park. Now, we did,
There's a pathway, trail, means of pedestrian conveyance. It's the concrete goes around both lakes that's going to be replaced.
is this for the widening?
Yes,
This is for the widening.
Yes.
Okay, so, and this is so we're accepting $325,000, and that's a matching grant, so it conceivably cost $650,000 to widen, you call them trails, the sidewalks at Kennedy Park. Trails are normally through woods, through wooded areas, like the 40 acres behind Kennedy Park. That would be an appropriate place to have trails, but we don't own that, okay? Now, last year, we talked about that widening of the sidewalks, and that will be great, for a parent who has triplets and wants to walk them, preambulate them in the park. But other than that, I can't imagine that widening of those sidewalks is the major issue in Kennedy Park. And I'd like to ask, since this is a matching grant, where is the $325,000 that could be the borough's match coming from?
Go ahead.
We don't have a budget yet, right? We only have a temporary budget.
Will probably be in our capital plan for this year.
That'll be in the capital fund. Okay, thank you. Now, I find it very interesting that we are willing to pay $650,000, 3.25 from us, 3.25 from the state, to widen the sidewalks in Kennedy Park, but we have an appraisal that says we can buy 40 acres, the adjacent 40 acres, and that appraisal came in at $590,000. So we could buy those four, according to this appraisal, those 40 acres are worth less than $600,000, but we're going to spend $650,000 to widen the sidewalks in Kennedy Park. You know, I saw this and I thought, are these the moving sidewalks? Are these people movers? Are these yellow brick roads? $650,000 to widen sidewalks in Kennedy Park. I almost wanted to email Elon about this. It just makes no sense. But Donna, this is your department, Parks. Did you inquire to see if we could get a $600,000 Green Acres grant to purchase the 40 acres to extend the park?
Jim,
Or just for the
Jim, you
sidewalks?
need to stay on the resolution. You're going off the resolution. So it's questions or comments about a resolution. So please make your comments or any questions
Okay, my
to the
comment about the
resolution.
resolution then is I think it would make a lot more sense, and the people of the borough of Sayreville would much rather that we preserve 40 acres adjacent to Kennedy Park than spend what could be $650,000 to widen the sidewalks. How wide these sidewalks will go from what to what? How wide to how wide under this $650,000 project?
They're going to 10 feet wide,
From what?
their current width.
From what?
From their current width, 4 feet.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, it's obvious you don't have answers. Man, oh man, do you like to waste money when you could spend less money and acquire 40 acres and preserve it. Some would rather it be maybe a warehouse, maybe housing. I don't know. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Are there any other questions or comments about the resolutions? Being no others, I'll entertain a motion that the resolutions be approved and adopted on roll call vote.
Mayor, I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
In Resolution 2025-62, I'm going to abstain on Adelux bill, yes on all other items.
Polisi.
Yes.
Novak.
I just have a few questions first. I got one of them answered when I was downstairs. I should have asked them all. I'm sorry. I noticed that there's no bill this month for Jaffe Communications.
Oh, I guess he didn't send it in time.
Okay. There's a bill here for Jack's Catering from Middletown for a February meeting. Do we know what meeting?
I think that's Office on Aging.
Office on Aging. Okay, thank you. And there's also $25,705 bill, electric bill for Morgan First Aid. Can I assume that that's somehow a mistake?
Go ahead.
That's actually being looked at. We noticed a major anomaly in electric charges for both of our first aid squads. We just got today 12 months worth of data, and we're looking into why that is, and we'll come up with an explanation.
Thank you. Yes.
Anything else,
Sinarski?
Mary?
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
A motion to accept the correspondence as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Mayor and council? Okay. Administration and Finance, Councilman Balca.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real busy on the budget right now. We're a little behind because of some issues with some staff down there with some sicknesses. So hopefully next meeting we'll have better numbers and more progress.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. One, a reminder for our seniors that United Way began providing the free income tax preparation as of February 4th. That's still available down at the Active Adult Center. There is a Dropbox, which is secure if in fact you want to just simply drop off your tax documents, but you can also schedule an appointment, which are from 9 a.m. to 12 noon for an in-person. I just have to call the center for that. Hopefully, we won't have any more inclement weather, but if we do, there's also a list for individuals from our town that do snow removal and snow plowing for our seniors as well. And that can be negotiated for one of our interested residents. Planning Board and Sarah had meetings, but those meetings were basically for administrative matters. The Board of Adjustment meets on Wednesday to hear a variance application. There is no schedule for the next meeting for the mosque as of yet. We're waiting for them for that to happen. And as soon as it will, we'll publish more information on that because we know many are interested. And then finally, we had a wonderful ceremony tonight feeding one of our volunteer firemen for great heroism. You know, that can't happen if our roles don't continue to rise for those groups that require volunteers for what we need. Our Forest Service and also our first aid squads are always, as Mary knows, in constant need for new membership. And I put it out as much as possible that if you are interested, whatever, and I mean, whether it's not always about heroism, it's about just doing the best thing for your community. And so again, I always like to plug the fact that applications are always available for anyone that may be interested in these volunteer services. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you. Councilman Khaleesi, Public Safety.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. So I'll start off with Chris Bardsley's report to me from Office of Emergency Management. So the Sayreville OEM has successfully obtained 12 level 1 trauma kits through Middlesex County OEM, which have been distributed to each school, each public school that we have here. So at no cost to the borough and no cost to the Board of Education. And the training for the use of these kits was provided by 2 members of our Sayreville PD to all the security staff at the schools. So OEM is actively collaborating with the Board of Education Safety and Security Committee to enhance their reunification policy. So in case you wonder what that is, that reunification is anything like a lockdown, and then they have to reunify the children with their parents and guardians after that. So our OEM team will attend the New Jersey State Emergency Preparedness Conference in Atlantic City in April to receive updated training. So next I have Chief Plumacher's report from the Sayreville Police Department. The department continues to address concerns regarding tractor-trailer parking on Kennedy Drive. They have enforced the no overnight parking ordinance by issuing numerous summonses and towing multiple vehicles. Additionally, they are working with code enforcement to clean up the garbage and debris that was left on both sides of Kennedy Drive. Summonses have also been issued for tractor trailers parked on the shoulder of Bordentown Avenue in the area of Winding Woods, following additional parking complaints from those residents. So Sergeant Braille is researching enhancements to the overnight truck parking ordinance and will soon provide recommendation to the council for stricter penalties. And finally, the patrol division is maintaining high visibility patrols during early morning hours to deter criminal activity in response to the statewide increase in occupied home burglaries and car thefts. The department has received several reports of suspicious activity from residents during these times and encourage everyone to continue reporting such incidences. Additionally, PD reminds all residents to lock their vehicles as most vehicle burglaries occur due to the unlocked doors. And lastly, from the chief from the fire department, nothing to report. So that's all I have from your favorite councilman.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Councilman. Public Works, Councilwoman Novak.
Yes, Mayor. I really can't say enough about our Public Works Department. I don't know if you noticed how many of the volunteer firemen are our Public Works people. They really did a great job. I mean, I was actually traveling in the last snowstorm, and the state didn't do anything prior to it being about an inch on the state highways. And the county, even Main Street and Washington Road really wasn't done. They did the bridges, but our streets, our local streets were done. They were all pre-treated. So, I mean, we got a lot more snow than was really anticipated. I'm telling you, driving in it was unbelievable, particularly when the state was out there throwing stuff around. My whole windshield was covered with, pre-treat, which was a little silly at that point because we were no longer in the pre-treat stage. So another kudos to our Public Works Department. They always do a great job. And I really quick about the, I don't know, a lot of people in this town don't even realize how lucky we are. The training to be a volunteer first aider or a volunteer fireman is exactly the same as a paid. And so what they did it was so heroic. I've seen many heroic deeds over the years, but most of it is just training and washing the trucks after each call. Very mundane stuff, but they do it. We are extremely lucky. Most towns in this county no longer have volunteer anything. And we still have a majority volunteer first aid and a 24/7 volunteer fire department. We are extremely lucky. Michael, you were talking about Kennedy Drive. When that was first allowed to be built, according to the county, you were not allowed to make a left out of that street. And they aren't, the sign is no longer there, and they're making, so when they come out and make a left turn, they just block all of Main Street. So maybe we could look into, did something change? Because the original resolution was no left turn there.
There are some missing signs. They're
Yeah.
getting replaced.
And I mean, that's just downright dangerous. Okay, I have a question for the attorney. Did you find out if we could legally stop paying on lights that are out for over 30 days?
I don't have a final answer for that. I'm still looking into it. I apologize, but we are still trying to get the current agreement. We have prior agreements with the JCP&L under the terms of where we're paying for the streetlights, but still trying to get a hold of the current agreement, which will govern our options.
Possible we don't even have a current agreement.
Possible.
Nobody bothered to, okay.
Possible, yes.
By the next meeting, maybe? Okay. Because, I mean, it's not just the lights now. We had a resident from Pulaski Avenue who sent me an email and showed me pictures of a pole that was supposed to be replaced. And the new pole is sitting there, never firmly secured in the ground, next to the old pole that is at a, like a 45-degree angle almost with the roadway. And they have done nothing but call Jersey Central, and they say they're going to fix it. And it still isn't done. And it's been quite a while again. Not to mention the temporary trailer for that's been there like 10 months, something like that. You can't tell me that doesn't have something to do with the fact that I've lived in this town 50 years, will be 50 years in January. We're constantly, somebody sneezes and our power goes out in this town. Jersey Central, what I would really like at the next meeting, or as soon as possible, that we get a representative in here from JCP&L, and we let the residents of this town, as well as the council, prepare questions and talk directly to somebody. We used to have somebody that used to come in once a month. Ever since he retired, I think maybe we saw 2 different people at 2 different times over all those years. I think it's about time we get somebody in here and we hold their feet to the fire, because this is it's just not fair to the residents of this town. Okay, what else did I have here? Okay, is it possible to get a copy of the contract from Morgan Engineering? I mean, we must have a contract with them, correct? Yes, please. You can email it to me, although I am a paper person, that's fine. Now I have another question. And believe me, I'm not trying to start trouble any more than I would normally. Right, Kennedy? Um, Right at the beginning of last year, we did away with allowing the public to participate in Zoom. And then we said that people couldn't come up and answer questions. And although that has kind of not been held as tightly as normal. But the whole reason was there's 4 new hirees in this town that are here just to help answer the questions for the residents of the town. So we're paying a lot of money. We're not allowing people to ask questions here or on Zoom. And yet somebody, and I actually read this online, so the person didn't come directly to me with this, but it's online, that he sent an email and it said, your emails have been blocked. Is that not a lawsuit waiting to be happened? When you have somebody they send an email to the town, to the mayor and council, and they're told that their emails are blocked.
Mary, I assume you're talking about, there was a statement made by your mentor, Jim Robinson.
He's not my
That he was
mentor.
blocked.
Yeah,
So I have the BA, he has an answer for you on
okay,
that.
great.
Yeah, we have a printed copy. It was sorted out by the AI as part of our email system. It was not a conscious act to block anybody.
Right. I mean, because
It's
to
corrected.
me, Lord knows we're involved in enough lawsuits. So, we'd just be inviting one if that was intentional. Thank God. Okay, my next question was how many people have been blocked, but I guess that's, doesn't need to be answered. And let me see. I'm sorry. Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Mary, just a follow-up on your inquiry with the JCP&L on Pulaski Avenue. So that work is still in progress. I just got an update before the meeting. This pole and a few others are Verizon poles that they replaced. So JCP&L needs to transfer its equipment over to the new pole. So I believe this is on the schedule for next week, depending on weather and other emergencies. When the work is complete, meaning every utility, including the cable that, if they still have the wires on the pole, has transferred their equipment. The old poles are removed and the dirt will be used to fill in those old poles. So I went to see the resident today.
Great.
And it's not standard practice to use cement, I found out, to put in the holes, but they're taking care of it and that'll be cleared up soon.
I still would like to see JCP&L in here to answer some questions because I still have a real problem with that substation over there that's still a temporary trailer. How long is temporary? But thank you. Thank you. for
Okay,
your answer.
Water, Sewer, Environmental, Councilman Sinarski.
Thank you, Mayor. The water and sewer, the water department produced 150 million gallons of potable water that was used in the month of January. Sewer department's doing a lot of maintenance on all of their underground utilities as far as their pump stations, lift stations. They're replacing pumps that are burned up. They're replacing check valves that don't hold. There's a lot of things going down as far as that. As soon as the weather breaks, I'm going to start and do Hernal, and I'm going to do all of the potable water stations. I want to learn more about the wells and the infrastructure on that. Then when I complete that, I'm going to go underground with them and I'm going to do the sewer. And then I'll find out everything about that because there's going to be a lot of changes coming up because there's a lot of antiquated pipes and stuff that has to be updated in this town. So again, there's going to be some things that we're going to be spending money on the infrastructure in the water and sewer. That's the end of my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Recreation, Council President Roberts.
Thank you. I will end with some fun things. First, the next event is going to be the indoor LED glow mini golf. That's going to be at the Senior Center. Half hour, I think it's every 30 minutes are appointments for play. And I didn't go to last year's. I know Mike did, had a great time, heard wonderful things about it. Also, we have a lot of groups and commissions and committees that are running events. And it seemed that there were events that seemed to be not clashing, but kind of competing with ourselves on events. So we had a recent meeting with the Human Relations Committee, with the library, with the Cultural Arts Committee and Recreation. We all went through our calendars. We went through some best practices for events and found where we might be able to work together with some of the events that are run by multiple committees and commissions. They've all gotten now contact information across the different departments so that they can work together independently. I think this is something that we'd like to do annually just to get a level set, get calendars out. And we're looking forward to having a master calendar of events for everything. Maybe not the library. They have a lot of things on their own, but some of their major events will cross over and have a master events list so that our community has one place to go to for all of those types of information. And that's all for my report today. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to a general discussion.
Authorization for the tax collector to refund taxes and cancel all subsequently billed taxes due to 100% disabled veteran tax exemption, 7 Virginia Street, in the amount of $1,187.
Next item.
8 cents. Application for a place-to-place transfer received from Marulo 2 to place his pocket license at right across the street here at 1 Hag Street at Truly Thai.
Next item.
And for recreation, application for a special event received from the Dwarkadish Temple for March 14th and March 15th, and the Masjid Sadar Community Center to hold a prayer service on March 30th and June 7th at Kennedy Park from 7 a.m. to 2.
Okay. Business Administrators Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just 2 items. Authorization to appoint Richard Hedden as Management Specialist in the Finance Department effective April 1st, 2025.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to appoint Jenna Huff as Clerk 1 in the Water and Sewer Department effective March the 1st, 2025.
Any objection? CFO's report.
Just a budget transfer resolution.
Okay. Borough Engineers.
Thank you, Mayor. One item, 2020 Road Project Phase 3, which was Avon Way and Stratford Road, recommending the project be closed out and a net change order with a reduction be approved. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Borough Attorney.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, this time I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on any and all issues. Ken.
Thank you, Mayor. Ken Olszewski, Sayreville. Several meetings ago, after the public portion was closed, the mayor had some comments about me. And I said after that I'd be here to discuss that. So tonight I'm going to do that. The item I want to talk about, he said that I was rejected. Well, I've been married for over 50 years, happily, I might add. And I don't think I've been rejected. It's also the same woman. But let me say a little bit about the mayor here, because the idea that he comes here and acts like a blue blood is starting to get to many people that talk to me. I sat there for 6 years on the council. Early in the term, one of my colleagues came to me and said, I had a call from a guy named Kennedy O'Brien wants to get involved. Oh, really? Okay. What does he want to do? Well, he said he likes children. Okay, well, nobody seems to know him. The logical place maybe would be to put him in a rec department, on a rec board, but nobody seems to know this guy. So I don't know where that went, who went to who, but we got some background information on Kennedy O'Brien. It seemed he had been a beach bum for years in California. He also told me that, by the way, that independently. And then he came here and he became a butcher. And when he was in California, the word it was and is that he was rejected numerous times out there, like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times. So I don't know where we go with this rejected thing, but let me go to another aspect of it. Well, we're talking about elections. I haven't been involved in an election in 30 years. Mayor, if you're going back there, let's go back. You want to go back there? Let's go back there when Kennedy O'Brien ran for the assembly in New Jersey. He got beat pretty bad. So I'd say he was rejected. He was rejected pretty bad. And then, if you want just something recently, let's look at the firehouse next door. The referendum. The referendum, whose idea it was? It was Kennedy O'Brien's idea. Whose idea was it to put the $3 million in there that it would be beaten? It was Kennedy O'Brien's idea. And he fought tooth and nail against us, campaigned against it, sent out literature against it, denounced Mary here for supporting it and all the other people that supported it. And the referendum won 2-1, and Kennedy O'Brien lost 2-1. So I'd say you were rejected pretty good, Mayor. So if you want to talk about rejection, you should look in the mirror. As a matter of fact, I think you're the king of rejection. You might want to stop at Burger King. I think they have those little crowns. You could wear that as the king of rejection. So you want to talk about people, you should look in the mirror and talk about yourself first. And I think what we're trying to do here, what we're trying to do is change the subject and hide the things that are going on in Sayreville. Hide the $100 million tax giveaway that he did, and he brought all these people in for. Hide the fact that there's no questions asked at council meeting, no questions answered, which of course, most people would think that talks about corruption. They don't want to answer questions because they're hiding things. And how about, I think Mary just brought up, the numerous aides in the borough. What do you have now, Mayor? Somebody said you had 4 aides. Is this New York City? Maybe you would come out and say who they are and how much they're being paid, sucked out of the taxpayers' dollars. And finally, I brought this up at the last meeting, selling jobs. I talked about selling the job for this guy from South Jersey, Zach, and nobody responded. So I talk about standing here about selling jobs. Nobody responds. You know what? I guess that's true. Nobody rebutted that. So when we talk about corruption and the mayor says he was trying to clean up corruption, that's part of his campaign. Is it trying to clean up corruption or trying to start corruption, Mayor? I think that's what should answer to the people of Sayreville. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Bob? Bob Duffy, 111 Merritt Avenue. I have your answer, Mary, on Kennedy Drive. I owned that property where the building is in 2000. And in 2001, we were in front of the planning board and we got a left lane turn approved by the county and by Sayreville. And I think Dave handled it, Jay. But I sold I didn't get that far with the property. I sold it to Gillette, and I don't know what happened to the left turn lane, but it was approved. But we're not 2001. Okay, so okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Bob. Anthony?
Good evening, Mayor. Anthony Sposato, Washington Road. Mayor, I wanted to come out and speak tonight to pull the average age of the speaker in the public portion down from the 70s that you had mentioned at the last council meeting, though I know a 69-year-old resident who would bristle at being unfairly aged. You also know that 69-year-old resident, Mayor, he is the one who AI must have somehow blocked one of your biggest detractors from being able to email you. He's a concerned citizen whose participation at these council meetings predates your term, and whose contributions have inspired residents in this borough to participate more, to pay more attention, to ask more questions, and to show up and understand the ways in which this borough functions. So, Mayor, knowing that you have said you are not here to answer questions, but also knowing that you or someone on your staff are actively blocking residents from participating through the means you suggested we use, which is to either call or email, and knowing, of course, that conservative Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote for the majority in saying that if a public official has authority to speak for the government, and that official purports to be acting within the authority, a public official runs afoul of the First Amendment in blocking a person. I think the public is owed an explanation of why you yet again exceeded the authority of a mayor in a weak mayoral system of borough government in blocking a resident's email. I think the public is owed an explanation of how many other residents are currently blocked I think that information needs to be reported publicly. And what authority you feel you're given to muzzle a taxpaying resident's First Amendment right to free speech? Happy to pause my time while you answer. No?
Anthony, like many things, you got this wrong and you make false accusations. So let's straighten this out here. No, your time just rolls, Anthony. You want to ask silly questions, the clock keeps going.
Okay, I'll reclaim my
So,
time then, Mayor.
no,
So
no, I'm
maybe
gonna
I'll
answer, I'm
email the
gonna
question.
answer it,
I'll
Anthony.
email the question
No,
for you so you
no,
can't eat into the
no.
time that the little
So
residents
the
are given.
business, had you
Let me
been
ask the
paying
Kennedy
attention?
O'Brien team
All right.
on this dais, those who identify as part of the Kennedy
Anthony,
O'Brien team
I
or
can
otherwise.
see you're getting
who
ready
are
for your
I'll
run
reclaim
for
my time, Mayor.
council.
Thank you. Elected by
Right,
taxpayer, I'll
and-
reclaim my time. Thank you.
No, you won't.
Councilman Balka, Councilman Sonarski, Councilman Zabrowski, Khaleesi, Councilwoman Novak, do you believe it to be either ethical or legal for a public official to cut off a resident's ability to email elected leaders? I can't pause my time because the mayor will filibuster it. So, Council President Roberts, do you believe it to be either ethical
can't
or
do that.
legal for
You
a public
cannot do
official to
that.
cut off a resident's ability to email
You
elected
cannot do
leaders?
that, Anthony.
Cannot do what, Mayor?
You cannot, and you cannot, this is not a cross-examination, it's not a
Oh, sure,
court
but
of
it's
law.
public portion, so I'll continue on as my right. That's the problem with the mayor and this team. Mayor, while you do not have the legal right to block a resident, and while doing so seems to have opened us up yet again to legal liability as a borough, you do have other rights, even in a weak mayoral system. Mayor, you have the right to call residents dopey assholes. You have the right to take snipes at residents once the public portion has closed, even though your comments fall outside of the mayor's portion, which comes much earlier in the agenda. You have the right to attack residents and tell them that they are unliked or unpopular once public portion has closed. You have the right to say that residents are engaging in theatrics if they criticize you. All those rights are yours. And those rights also belonged to Vicky Kilpatrick. She had the right to do those things, and she didn't. She didn't insult the public, she listened to the public. And in doing so, she inspired residents to come out and participate more. She invited dissenting voices on her own dais to speak, to be heard on the record, even when they disagreed, and even when that dissent came from within her own party. Because true transparency does matter. Mayor, you were quick last meeting to dismiss Councilwoman Novak's legitimate inquiries, and you invoked the name of former Democratic Party head Tom Palando, a man who has been dead for 2 years, but you were right, and I'll say this on the record, you were right. He was tied to a lot of corruption in our borough, corruption that folks in my party have not always taken accountability for, but that is over. The Democratic Party in Sayreville owns those choices and understands the ways in which it made muddy water for all of us who are looking to make a difference and get more people involved. In acknowledging that past, we also look forward to be more transparent and welcoming. Mayor, do you or your team have plans to bring back Zoom participation so that veterans and our disabled residents are again able to participate? The Democrats want to do that and hope that you'll work with them. Do you or your team have any plans to spend a portion of the millions of dollars we've accrued towards protecting open spaces or green spaces in a borough that's become overcrowded, overbuilt, and overrun? The Democrats want to work with you on that. Will you work with them? Council President, I hope the next time that you get a text from your party chair telling you how to vote on an issue like you did when you changed your vote on the pride flag, I hope that that text message is to tell you to vote yes on historical designation for the firehouse, that our residents overrode you to save. I hope the next text you get from your party chair is to tell you to vote yes to restore Zoom participation for our veterans and disabled community. Sayreville deserves better than this, and I hope that interested residents, unconnected to the past and its baggage, will step up and decide to run to help make this borough the best that it can be. It is a big, important job to be done with care and consideration, and for those that understand that, I thank them.
Are there any others? Jim? Go right ahead.
I just wanted, Jim, Anthony, you know how I feel about these things, but that's why I brought it up here, because I read it online, and it was a copy of the email. It wasn't just somebody said I was wrong. But I'm taking them at their word that this was an anomaly and that Glenn has checked into it. And I'm hoping that, Jim, the next time, try it tomorrow, see if you're blocked. And if anybody is blocked for any reason, please let me know. But that's why I brought it up. It's not right. And I'm hoping that's.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mary. I don't think this mayor would ever block me intentionally. Jim Robinson, Parlin. I was involved when I was on the planning board when the warehouses were built and we put that no left turn restriction. I heard what Mr. Duffy said. Very simply, I think you can do a weight restriction or say trucks, no left turn. That would resolve that problem, and I would suggest you do that. I noticed you skipped over number 9, which is the mayor's report on the agenda, the council reports, the mayor's supposed to report then. Mayor, you like to report after the public portion is closed so that people can't rebut what you say. I guess, maybe that's your right, I don't know, cowardly. Mary, I'd like to thank you for bringing up first that JCP&L bill, $24,000 doesn't sound right, and bringing up the streetlights. I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing up I think the administrator said basically that email problem was a glitch. Is that a proper way to rephrase it? My email being blocked was a glitch?
Your email was intercepted by the AI that looks for spam. It was looked into by the IT manager. It has been corrected.
To how many other people?
I don't know.
Could you find that out?
You can find out.
Okay, because we'd like to know that for some reason. I will tell you this. I heard, and people up here know they can talk to me confidentially. I never betray a confidence. The good thing is, well, you're smirking, Mayor. Mayor, haven't told the things I know about you, so you know that's true. As your mentor, as the guy who ran your first 2 campaigns, never told things about you or whatever. But because I don't betray confidences, I did hear the good news is that as a result of that backlash, somebody said to another somebody, you know what? We're really getting beat up over this school bus thing. We better try and resolve this. So, Mary, I thank you for bringing up that comment, and I hope that some good comes of this and you can act like adults and try and resolve this problem to save God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars this suit is costing us, because taxpayers are paying it all, the board side, the school side. I know the mayor, when you first came in, you said you had no interest in solving this. That's what my email was about, resolving this school board thing in everybody's best interest. And at the last meeting, it was obvious that many of you, and Mayor, it was obvious that you never looked at the appraisal for the 40 acres. I talked to some council people who told me they never received that appraisal for the 40 acres adjacent to Kennedy Park. And Mayor, your comment, and it was after the public portion had closed, so I couldn't respond, was that you couldn't believe that that would be appraised at $590,000 because property on Journey Mill Road is going for a lot more. Well, had you looked at the appraisal, you wouldn't have made that comment. You wouldn't have made that silly comment, absurd comment. But I just want to say this. A little bit earlier, we agreed to pay $650,000 to widen sidewalks at Kennedy Park from 4 feet, we think, to 10 feet. Now, if there's anybody in this council chamber or this borough that thinks widening the sidewalks to 10 feet is the biggest issue at Kennedy Park, well, I'd like to know who that person is, except the parents who have triplets and like to perambulate them through the park and need a wider sidewalk. But if we are willing to spend $650,000 and for sidewalks, and we have an appraisal that says that property, that 40 acres behind the park, is appraised at $590,000, I would very strongly suggest you enter into serious discussion about obtaining that property, whether you buy it, whether you condemn it, whether you make some kind of deal. You know, it's like 39.5 acres. Maybe you say to Mako, you can have 5 acres. You can build a community center. You can build a recreation center. You can build something where you make some money on it. Sell us the rest for the appraised price. Because, Mayor, you know, history is going to remember everybody up here for certain things. And you don't want to remember them for the person that put their political guy as their aide, or the guy that cut off Zoom, or the guy that cut off public speaking, or the guy that had officers take. How about you want to be remembered, or the council that let it happen? How about you be remembered for the council and the mayor, members of the governing body who added 40 acres to Kennedy Park so it can't be developed?
Have a
And,
seat.
and that might change
seat.
the way you are viewed because you're
Thank
not
you,
viewed
Jim.
too
Have a
well,
seat.
Mayor. I'll sit down. Thank you for the extra time.
Okay, anyone else? Being no one else, I'll close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, okay, so we have a count of people that watched on the Borough website. On the Zoom, it was a total of 10, with 4 of them being employees. On the YouTube stream, at the highest, the count was 16. Do you have an average? Average was 10. Okay. The other thing is there is a tremendous amount of misinformation. And what I usually do with misinformation for the most part is ignore it because its intent is not, it's just misinformation for the sake of misinformation. We did send a communication to Mr. Mako about the 40 acres. He responded that he had no desire to sell the property at Kennedy Park. He's owned it for a very long time and he would like to develop it. That being said, I did run this appraised value by some local builders and they pointed out that a Cape Cod on South Edward Street recently sold for $630,000 and that the appraised price in Kennedy Park is incorrect in their opinion. As far as the blocked email, stuff happens. You know, I have blocked Mr. Robinson a long time ago from my private cell phone, my private email, my Facebook. As I have said to Mr. Robinson, he should bring his recommendations and suggestions about the bus depot to the Board of Education because the town did not sue the Board of Education. The Board of Education sued the town. We're merely playing a bit of defense, that's all. And at the end of the day, the kids that go to school, they belong to all of us. So we only want the best, and we're trying to get this resolved. The other thing is, whenever accusations of malfeasance are directed towards me, I always say to those people that don't have much of a life, to go right to the prosecutor. Whatever illegal activity you think I'm involved with, the proper place is the prosecutor and go to the prosecutor. So I have yet to hear from the prosecutor. All that being said, this is as much as I want to spend on this stuff tonight. There was no blocking of email. By the way, when my people came in, there were 2 of them. Sometimes when a guy gets old, he gets numbers confused. They walked into 6,000 unopened email from my predecessor. So there essentially was little to no customer service. This is a business of providing services. We provide police, fire, and first aid. We equip them, we train them, and we hope that they show up ready to go, and they have never let us down. So we have an excellent first responders. The other thing is we have about 300 employees and they're all here to provide customer service. So we have first responders, we pick up your garbage, we pick up your recyclables, we pick up your old couch when you throw it out. We plow the snow. We have 70 parks that we take care of. We have a public library. That is the business that we're in. This, unfortunately, is a throwback to years ago, pre-internet, when this was probably the only live entertainment in town. And you'd get a lot of people that would do what's going on tonight. And they throw out a lot of false information, a lot of personal character attacks. And quite frankly, I've watched it for decades, and it's really not worth that much of a rebuttal because what they're really looking for is attention, good attention, bad attention. It doesn't matter. It's just attention. It's tiresome. And one of the things when I was running for reelection this last time, everyone said to me, make them talk less. They're, you know, when they get up for 20 minutes, 25 minutes and expound and pontificate on things, the people of Sayreville had had enough. So that being said, I'm going to wish everyone a good night, and I'm going to call for an adjournment.
I'd like to say a couple words, Mayor, if I got a minute.
Go ahead, Sash.
I'm relatively new into politics, but since I've been in this position, I answer a lot of questions daily, weekly from numerous residents in town. And to me, it's a lot of small fires. I take care of a lot of small fires on my own, whether I direct them to the proper borough department head or whatever I have to do to correct it. And I always get back to the people and they're all till they're satisfied. Sometimes I can't solve the problem on my own, and I do use the people downstairs. And they've been always very polite to me, very prompt, getting back to me, and they do solve my problems. And so I do think that's working out in town. So if you work on that and they don't call you back or something, call me, then I'll see what I can do. But I have never had a refusal. I have always had good service out of the call service downstairs for answering questions. Okay, that's all I got to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, is there a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, everyone.